Hashem, Wakam, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who will, peace and blessings. Hopefully, like the Akim out there, Christian is true, sincerity, it's 100% true, and sincerity. I came in the spirit of it. I want to touch on the red list, blue list, yellow list, and black list. For these FEMA camps, for when it's time to impose martial law, the time of people's trouble. Written in the scripture that they have certain people that they classify, that they plan on rounding up to go in these concentration camps. And this brief article that I came across here through the spirit, to, it kind of gives you a brief breakdown of what's going to happen. All those who believe in the name of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, and all those who push this truth and sincerity, 100% truth. Okay, we believe in the names. Esau knows who we are, right? And he plans on sweeping us up. Right? So, of course, we know some of us are Akim out there, but all we're slated to be taken up into this, but we be delivered. Let's start off here. It says, we are all on a red or blue list. Some of those on the red list will be woke at 4 a.m. and taken to the camps and probably killed. Red list. These people are the enemies of the NWO, New World Order. They are those of patriot groups, outspoken ministers. Okay, I want to stop there because the scripture scriptures call us ministers, alright? I'll go to that real quick. Go to 2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 6, verse. It says, but in all things proving ourselves as the ministers of the Most High, in much patience, in afflictions, in necessities, in distresses. Verse 5, in stripes, in imprisonments, in tumults, in labors, in watchings, in fastings. Verse 6, by pureness, by knowledge, by long suffering, by kindness, by the Holy Ghost, by love unfeigned. Verse 7, by the word of truth, by the power of the Most High, by the armor of righteousness on the right hand and on the left. Okay. That is who's predestined to be cast in prison, right? The chosen, the elect. By pureness, by knowledge, by long suffering, right? Who has this knowledge, right? We do. Akim, the hopeful elect, we have this knowledge, right? The knowledge of the names of Yahweh, YAHAWASHI, right? The knowledge that we are the nation of Israel. We're not blacks, all right? Native Americans, Hispanics, right? By long suffering, and by kindness, by the Raw Kadash, by love unfeigned, by the word of truth. Or the ones who hold this truth, or the ones who are chosen to hold this truth. Right? Baltazar, that's me. And I came out there with all the truth, 100% truth and sincerity. Right? From the apostles and the elders, great millstone, all the way down. Right? Those who follow the same doctrine and teaching of the truth and this word, by the power of the Most High, by the armor of righteousness on the right hand and on the left. Yeah. So I want to jump back into the start. It says outspoken ministers. Awesome. We'll put out there to spread the truth, okay? Truth straight from the scriptures, okay? The words of YAHAWASHI. We put out there to speak these words and to make ourselves a living sacrifice, okay? Outspoken, all right? Ministers. I wanted to go to minister. Okay, the letter is pronounced Shah Roth, right? Shah Rath. It's not there if I'm not pronouncing it right. Says just to minister, serve, all right? Down here says to minister, serve, and all right. So as a minister, you're a servant of who? Servant of YAHAWASHI. Okay. Or serve is providing a service. All right. Service to this truth, a service to this gospel, 100% true. Right? Now, we'll go to further enforce that. I wanted to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6. He says, who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. All right. Who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament. All right. So, again, who's ministering, who's serving, all right, who's providing a service in this truth. Be the hopeful elect, all right. During this day and time, there's only a select few that it was given to have this truth. Let me go to let me get back here. I know I'm jumping back and forth. Bear with me. So when it says outspoken ministers, right, that's specifically talking about prophets out there prophesying on the highways and byways, those pushing this truth 100%. Right? It's 100% truth and sincerity. All right. That's us, that's us. Outspoken talk show hosts, community leaders, and even probably net leaders. These people will be dragged out of their homes at 4 a.m. and will be taken to FEMA detention centers and killed. This will take place approximately 2 weeks before martial law is enforced. So, the prophet and teacher, the Most High, YAHAWASHI, so most likely on that list. But as we all know, Akim, the Most High will raise the standard in time also. Okay? The roles will be reversed. The blue list, these are also enemies of the New World Order, but are followers of the red list folks. Right? These people will be rounded up after martial law is in place and will be taken to the detention centers and re-educated. Various mind control techniques will be used on them. Most will not survive this. Okay, there will be various mind control techniques. A good example of this, I'm not sure if you are aware of it, but I forgot the name of the experiment of what they used to do. They used to experiment on dogs to try to get them to react to certain stimuli, right? And to get them used to react to certain stimuli. I can't think of it, but it's an old experiment. Again, it was a way to test mind control eventually on human beings, but they started off with dogs. But it's no different than MK Ultra, or Project Monarch. That means that most will not survive this, okay? Because the techniques they use are so invasive and painful, right? They pretty much try to rewire your brain, okay, by breaking you down and then building you up. It's kind of like a Manchurian candidate. If you are familiar with it. And it says Mr. Springmeyer was not specific on exactly who was on the blue list, but I would guess that people such as you and I are on that list. Okay? There's no way of knowing who's on the blue list, because these will pretty much be the supporters, right? Those who are known to either quote or reference, all right, anything about this truth in the scriptures, all right. Those who are deemed to be threats against this coming new world order, this new system, all right. For ESAU, okay. Of course, and the Most High, how shots control the whole situation. With ESAU, ESAU is going to try to fully implement this new world order. Okay? And part of that implementation is martial law, okay, and detention to clearly assassinate and reprogram the population. Okay. That's including the elected, the Most High, and those who follow this doctrine and believe in this thing sincerely and truth. Okay. Yellow list. These are citizens who know nothing about the endeavor and don't want to know. They are considered to be no threat at all and will be instructed as to how to behave and will most likely do whatever they are told. Unfortunately, there are too many of these to be effectively controlled, so many will be killed or starved. Okay, so they already have the yellow list out. And what the yellow list is stating is that, uh, you know, so this will apply to the 2/3, okay, the heathen, right, all those scoffers and mockers, right, they're going to be included in this yellow list. Okay. Those of you who curse the prophets and scoff at the men out there doing good, okay, it's for the apostles and the elders on down. All you who scoff, all our scoffers out there, okay, they're in this group. They're going to be in the yellow list, right? But what you don't know is that they plan on killing you anyway at the end of it. Okay? It's going to be a temporary experiment, right? You're going to be taught to behave like, you know, well-trained dogs, right? And because there's so many of you, they're going to kill you anyway, just to maintain control of the populace. Also, Akim there shows us how fortunate we are, right? How blessed we are to have this truth in just such a small number. You know? Right. Blacklists. I have recently heard that the red and blue lists have been combined into one, and it's called the blacklist. All blacklisted citizens will be marked for execution. They revamped the red list and blue list and just combined them. And now they call it the blacklist. All right. So they combine the you know, the outspoken ministers, the so-called patriots, and all of them, right? The pretty much the true diehards, right, against the NWO. Okay. There's not all this is set up as a refinement by the Most High for His elect, right? And we will make it hopefully. I am of that number, okay? And you Akim out there push the truth and sincerity are of that number also, okay? But this is for us, right? Those who remain in this truth, those who have the testimony of YAHAWASHI. Right? You will be blacklisted and you will be marked for execution. Right? It's already stated in the scriptures. I'll pull it up real quick. This right here will be fulfilling the prophecy to come. Revelation 12, and I saw a throne sat upon, given unto them, and I saw the soul of them that were beheaded for the witness of YAHAWASHI and for the word of the Most High, and which had not ruled the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with YAHAWASHI 1,000 years. Okay. We must stay prayed up out here, Akim. This can happen at any time, as y'all already know. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. It says, FEMA camps in the red and blue list under martial law. While I have no doubt that the NWO cravers at the CIA have their own list of people to round up and terminate, the actual proper agency behind the now infamous red-blue list is none other than FEMA Black Ops. Now, as I'm sure some of you out there know out there, when it comes to Black Ops, they're short for Black Operations. Um, Matter of fact, Black Operations is notorious for having almost unlimited budget for funding covert operations. So if you want to relate that, you can relate that to you know, like CIA clandestine or the FBI, FBI deep cover, um, secret police, um, you know, mercenaries, and also groups like Blackwater, right? FEMA is not here to primarily help you, which we know they're not. Esau and this devil, the devil that he is, he was set up for a purpose. Right? So if you decide, even if you fall out of this truth, man, the Most High just does away with you and lets you go back into the world, gives you over to reprobate mind. All right. When that chip comes, and you get that chip, you need to realize when FEMA takes over, FEMA's gonna have full control over you know, all ports, railways, food supplies, commerce, everything. When you take over, you know, when you see FEMA taking over completely, all right, just know that they're not here to help you, right? And that who's working alongside them is Black Ops for making people disappear, all right? Kidnappings, murders, assassinations, etc. So they're not there to help you. Under a full state of martial law, FEMA is here to send you to FEMA's here to send you to their detention camps to sort out who shall live and who shall die. But we know ultimately that decision is made by the Most High, the power, okay? YAHAWASHI. I'll take you to scripture to prove that, right? Before you knew, I came out there and knew to his truth. YAHAWASHI controls life and death. That's my quick precept here. Go. 2 verse killeth if alive down to the grave and bringeth up. Right. So the Most High has complete control of who lives and who dies during that time. Okay. So those of us out there whose lot is to go through this, be thrown into prison, this FEMA camp. If that's your lot, just know that the Most High is going to be with you. The Most High is in control of the entire situation. I'll pull it up again. The Lord is the Most High. Okay? YAHAWASHI killeth and maketh alive. There's nothing during this time, you know, that's going to go down without the authorization of the Most High, YAHAWASHI. Those unfortunates whose names are found among the millions of fellow Americans on FEMA Red Blue List will never come out of the FEMA camps alive, although they may have to go through hell before they are finally terminated. Okay, you know, read the last paragraph out here. Such offenders are essentially deemed resistors of the New World Order. Okay. As my CIA and military insiders told me personally, oh, all of us in the CIA know all about the concentration camps in America and their purpose. We all know that their purpose is to terminate resistors of the New World Order under martial law. It's also a warning for you 2/3 and the fallouts. Okay, that's what you're gonna fall right into. You're gonna fall right into the hands of ESAU, right? As you can see, his only goal is to kill you, right? So I'll leave it here, end it off here. Aki, hopefully this was edifying. Once again, I'll give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who will. Alright, much love and peace and blessings to Akim out there pushing the word, truth and sincerity. Keep on pushing Akim. Yahweh Hashem, YAHAWASHI, He's with us. And giving us the 100% truth. We look for the prophecies, alright, as they unfold. You know, stay in the faith. Right now, build your faith, work on it, okay? Pray that the Most High keep your eyes open. That you're not caught sleeping when all this goes down. Alright. Shalom.